Hi guys. So as Judy said, I'm Harmonie Ramsden. I'm a junior at Princeton High School in Princeton, New Jersey. And today I'm going to be talking about my climate action project, Princeton Youth Climate Week 2021. So first, I just wanted to thank Judy, Sue, everyone from Turning Green, all of our judges today, and all of the finalists for being so amazing and working so hard through this virtual year because it's been a struggle for all of us, but I'm so proud of all the work we've done. And I'm so excited to present my project. So my project, Princeton Youth Climate Week, aimed to increase the accessibility of the climate movement because, as I'm sure a lot of us on this call know, it's extremely hard to dedicate oneself to an organization wholeheartedly or focus on being a large part of an organization. So I myself have found participating in activism very difficult, especially during virtual learning when it's so hard to find motivation. And so my project, Princeton Youth Climate Week, is a yearly challenge engaging students who wouldn't regularly participate in climate activism. So it had a lot of different multifaceted projects that would engage a poet, an artist, a singer, or a movie fan to all find connections to the climate change movement. So until late January, my idea was to host a one-day festival in the fields outside of my school, sponsored by my school, with clubs promoting their own environmental efforts and us talking about climate change through a lot of different activities. However, our administration had originally signed off, but they switched their permission because of the increase of COVID cases in New Jersey once university students returned. So we had to change it because they said that it needed to be virtual and independent of our school. So we were able to pivot into creating a 10-day, mostly virtual festival that engaged students through middle school to graduate school. So my team consisted of 16 high school students, one ambassador, two mentors, one sustainable Princeton leader, and one Griptape champion. So those 16 people were split into 4 teams working on businesses, students, social media, and speakers. And we met bi-weekly until about a month and a half before the event, where we switched to weekly meetings. So to expand more on my collaboration with Griptape, I was accepted to be a Griptape challenger in January. So I had 3 months where they helped me out with logistical, emotional, and financial help. So I was able to go to weekly calls with my Griptape champion, Yvonne Miller, and we talked about creating the event, working on logistics, engaging students in a virtual year, and so much more. Additionally, Griptape awarded me with $500 to pursue my passion project, and this $500 was spent on prizes, COVID safety supplies, and materials for our strikes and trash pickups. So first, I wanted to go into some of the quantitative achievements of my Princeton Youth Climate Week. So we had 81 participants with 12 winners, and these ranged from middle school to graduate school, all mainly in the Princeton community, but some outside of it. We additionally partnered with Nomad Pizza, which is a local sustainable pizza store, to raise $115 for Indigenous Climate Action, which is a national organization that promotes Indigenous climate work. Additionally, we were featured in 7 different newspapers, both online and in print, and including one feature in MSN, which is a national newspaper. So I couldn't have done any of this project without help from groups in my community. So we partnered with 8 different community groups, some in my school and some out, some in Princeton University, and some just members of the community, to both promote the event and host different workshops. So those groups helped with logistical help, planning events, hosting events, and much more. And we had speakers from community organizations, Princeton University, and Princeton High School. So outside of the quantitative results that we had for this challenge, we had results, progress, and challenges that I wanted to go into. So the challenge had over 100 participants, and we had an average of 9 participants at each event. And our event attendance increased as the festival went on, with our first event having 7 attendees and the in-person strike having 17, and some others having up to 35. So we also had one local legislator, our Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker, join one of our strikes and help to work to divest Princeton University from fossil fuels. And both participants and my school are interested in contributing to this challenge next year. And everyone is really excited to working on making this a partnership with the school instead of an independent activity, so that we'll be able to have more communication with students and host a larger activity. So the largest challenge outside of the pivot that I mentioned was communicating and reaching out to students because of virtual learning. So our school is for the most part virtual, except for about 100 students out of the 1,600 that we have. So it was pretty difficult to be able to reach out to these students because we couldn't do normal things like speak on announcements, go to our teachers, host clubs after school or during lunch, or talk in our classes or put flyers. So that was one of the biggest challenges for us. But as I said, we were able to get over 100 submissions and 81 participants. And as I said, the pivot posed a large challenge to us because we had to completely reimagine the idea of the whole event and create a completely different event that was still original and still preserved a lot of the ideas of the first event that we had. So even though this pivot caused a lot of problems, I think we were pretty successful as a whole, as evidenced by all of the quantitative and qualitative effects that this event had. So lastly, I wanted to talk about what's going to be happening in the next few years, along with some photos from the event. So next year, I'm going to be a senior and I will be hosting the event again, as I said, with partnership from our school. So we are going to have drastically larger attendance because we'll have the support of our school, as well as students who participated last year and are interested in participating next year. So as I said, I'll be a senior, so I'll lead it again, but there were 5 sophomores and freshmen on the team that are interested in leading it once I graduate. So there are at least 4 more years of this activity with much more to come beyond that. So even though the pivot caused a lot of problems, I think we can definitely integrate the ideas from both before and after that change to make a completely new event that mirrors the needs of our students and the people who participated. So that's everything. And thank you guys so much for listening. I am so excited to continue this next year. And I'm so excited to see how it works in an in-person year. And I really am excited to continue its range and increase the amount of participants that we have. And I hope you guys can all feel the passion that I have about this event and my excitement at hosting it in the future. So thank you guys so much.